Hey, this is Adam Torres, and I'm here to tell you that it has never been easier to start your very own podcast. At Mission Matters, our goal is to amplify stories that matter. That means we want to help you start your podcast because your story matters. We can do this in 3 different ways. 1, join our podcast school and take a free or paid course. 2, visit our resources page where we've already figured out what you need, such as where to host your podcast. Or 3, heck, we can even do everything for you through our podcast agency, including editing for cheaper than you can do in-house. Oh, and no contract, service is month to month. Get started by heading over to missionmatters.com and click on Start a Podcast. All right, now let's get into the show. Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Marketing Podcast, your source for all things marketing. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Reuben Driedger on the line. He's founder over at Coaches Creating Impact. Reuben, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Adam. I'm very excited about this. I say this on every interview I'm on, but honestly, it's one of my favorite things to do, so I'm excited.
Oh, man. Well, I'm excited, too. And let me tell you, I don't say that on everyone, and I am excited because I want to know today's topics, the organic social media marketing hacks. We want those hacks over here, Reuben, so we're going to get into that. But before we do, I want to go a little bit further into what you're doing overall over at Coaches Creating Impact. So tell us a little bit more about your company, please.
For sure. So Coaches Creating Impact, basically our motto is to help the heart-centered coach become business savvy and create an online business. That's what we're all about, because we have a belief that the world needs better coaches to do better in business, because coaches change the world. They're changing people's lives, whether it's health and fitness, relationship, money-wise, etc. And so basically, we like to help those people that are heart-centered, because we think that from a business perspective, if you're heart-centered, you're going to change people a lot better. So basically what we do at Coaches Creating Impact is we help you build the business that's actually going to help you fulfill, whether it's the calling or mission that you have in life to serve the world. And we do everything from your business, like finances, like acquiring clients, scaling, hiring team, etc. And so that's what we're all about.
That's awesome. And I think this is a great transition, because one of the things that, you have to do to help your coaches is they need to know how to build that social media. They need to get their word out there. They need to get their message out there, because I agree with you completely. Coaches do change the world, but, and it's good to change one life at a time and to work one-on-one. I agree with that 100%. Like that's the heart and soul of, in my opinion, many coaching businesses. But that being said, like, reach is important to get your message out there. The more people that hear your message, the more people you can help. So I think it's a great transition. Let's get into today's topic. So organic social media marketing hacks. Give us those hacks, Reuben. I'm excited to have you on here because I want to know them too for myself.
Perfect. So I like frameworks and ways of doing things that are very principle based. So I'm going to run through, basically we call it the loop method. It's a methodology I came up because I saw a lot of people doing organic social media marketing, but what I noticed is a lot of people, were either just posting and hoping, as we call it, producing content and hoping that people would come to them, or we had a lot of people that were just basically sending so much cold messages, emails, etc., that it really wasn't heart-centered at the end of the day. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a methodology, we call it the loop method, that leads from the heart, leads with value, but also brings consistent revenue to businesses. So let me run through this a little bit. So the first thing that we need to understand is that every single person that becomes a client went on what we call a client buying journey. They went from never hearing about you to then hearing about you, to then taking some small steps of commitment, maybe checking out some of your content, to taking bigger steps of commitment, maybe to listen to your podcast or going to a workshop, to then getting on a phone call or whatever it is that you do, like a sales page, to buying from you. So there's this, what we call, you can call it the client buying journey, or you can call it the nurturing journey, or our value chain, whatever it is. There's this progressive flow of someone not knowing about you at all to buying from you. So what we like to do is we like to break it up really simply with different steps so that you can be intentional about knowing exactly what's going to create a client versus what's not going to create a client. So should I just dive into kind of the four main steps that we kind of see as being the most important?
Oh, yeah, no, let's do it. I'm in. I'm taking notes, by the way. I'm taking detailed notes. As everybody else, go grab your pen. Everybody listening, go, hold on. I'm going to hold them off for 2 more seconds. 1, 2, 3, go.
Perfect. So the first step is what I talked about, getting people who don't know about you at all to know about you for the first time. That first, we basically, like, if you landed on like a different planet, like that first connection with the aliens, as it were. So basically we call it BTA, or build a targeted audience. Now, the main thing there's 2 main things here. Number one is that they are targeted, because every different coaching business or online service business, whatever it is, actually every business needs to have a targeted, basically prospective kind of ideal client. So you want to make sure that the people that you're actually getting into your audience are targeted, they're the right people. And then the second thing is that there's the right amount of them coming in per week to achieve the goals you want in your business. And so we can reverse engineer this at different times, but basically, so you want a system and a strategy. Now, I break it down to 4 easy steps here. So for building a target audience, number one, you want to choose one platform to start, whether it's Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, like all social media. Just so you know, they work. Like, we have clients who they make $10,000 a month off of TikTok. So like every social media platform works. So the first thing is pick your platform. The second thing is pick your strategy on that platform to grow your targeted audience, whether it's through collaboration, whether it's through going and finding your ideal clients, whether it's through podcasts or whatever it is, through hashtags. Find a way to grow your platform. And then basically you just want to understand, okay, how many people am I looking to grow by per week? This is important because a lot of people don't look at numbers in their business, but the number of new people coming into your audience will be a direct correlation at the end of the day, if you do things right, to how many clients you get. So if you get 50 people that are targeted this week, you'll get X amount of clients. If you get 100 people into your audience next week that are targeted, it'll usually be double the amount of clients that you got the week prior. So it's important to track this just so that you have some data to go off of. So that's the first step, going from someone not knowing about you at all to now becoming a follower. So that's the first step. We now call it, you have a cold lead. They're a lead because they're the right person, but they're cold. They don't really know you, like you, or maybe even trust you that much yet. So now we actually go to the second step in the loop method, which is what we call value-led lead generation. This is where we can really come and serve from the heart and actually start to generate leads, warm these leads up a little bit through value creation. So we have a term that we use called value pieces. A lot of other people talk about freebies or premiums and opt-ins. We just call them value pieces because that's what they are. They're providing value for free for somebody in their life right now. And so the way that we take these new audience members that you now have and warm them up is through 2 basically mechanisms: content and conversation. Through content and conversation with these new people every single week, you should be trying to get out X amount of what we call value pieces. Because if you can provide a certain amount of value per week, you're going to get a bunch of these cold leads becoming warm, thus going further on that client buying journey that we talked about. So now if people are wondering what a value piece is, basically it's any piece of content, video, audio, picture, graphic, whatever it is, that provides information that will give a quick win and provide some value and maybe actually solve a little bit of a problem for your ideal client very fast. Now, the beauty of this is it's heart-centered, it's value-led, and your prospects are going to feel very cared for, and that's going to warm them up really nicely. So that's the second step. So now we have people that didn't know about you at all coming to your audience. These new people in your audience are now getting value and getting warmed up, and now we can move on to the third step of the loop method. The third step is what we call the nurturing process. So we have a saying here at CCI, which is people take small steps with you before they take big steps with you. They'll take small commitments with you before big commitments. So now these people have done some small commitments. They joined your audience, probably checked out some of your content, maybe gotten a value piece. They've taken some baby steps in getting to know, like, and trust you. The nurturing process is where you increase this lead from warm to hot. And how do you do that? Well, this person now is going to be willing to spend longer time of basically watching your content or ingesting it. So this is where long form content, as far as maybe it's podcasts, maybe it's an email sequence, maybe it's a workshop that you host, a challenge that you host, a live event that you host. It's longer form pieces of content that they're going to want to come to because the short form content that you've given to them has been so beneficial. So they're going to want to come and check out longer form. Basically, you are heating this lead up through just basically growing that know, like, and trust. And so you want to make sure that everyone that's getting these value pieces is then now ingesting some of your longer form pieces of content. The beauty of this is once they've done that, you've grown so much rapport with them. They feel like you truly care about them. They feel like you're so valuable and they know what you're all about. This is a great time that they can make a buying decision, whether, yes, you are a good fit, or, you know what, maybe you're not the best fit. And so that's the point where the fourth step, the loop method, which is the sales process. Going and the people that have checked out your long form content, again, this can be done through content or conversation. You can ask these people if they're willing to talk a little bit more about how you can work together in an official manner. It doesn't have to be salesy. It can just be very straightforward. Don't try to hide that's a sales call. Don't try to trick them into a sales call. Just tell them, hey, I know you've loved our free value. You know, I think you'd be a good fit for this program that we have. How about we hop on the phone and see if that would be a good fit for the both of us to do? And that's when obviously you can do a sales call from a very heart-centered standpoint. Again, not salesy, not pushy, not slimy, very caring and value-driven, just like every step of the process, and see if it's a good fit. If it's not, that's totally okay. If it is, incredible. If you nurture people the right way with the value you provide, more than likely you are going to get the right people on the call. And so that is the 4-step process that you can repeat again and again and again. And the beauty of it is it works on all platforms. It works whether it's organic or paid traffic or collaboration. Every single way of building your business, you follow those 4 principles and you're going to be golden.
Yeah, and what I love about this, well, number one, I love that you just taught like what took me, I don't know, 5 years to learn. You just taught it in 10 minutes. I'm like, what? Where was this guy at when I was just starting in this business in media? I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, and I had to reverse engineer and do all these other things. And we're like, well, why are we getting this result? Why are we not getting this other one? You just now really encapsulated in like 5-10 minutes, like really quick. So everything that you said is like, it's spot on, number one. So I know you're doing great work for your clients because it is spot on. And that's how we 100% of our business here is really inbound. And why? Because we do those things. We nurture our audience. We do all those steps you talked about. Like, I didn't have them laid out that well when I started, just putting it that way. Like, I was figuring things out. But now as you're talking and I'm taking notes, I'm like, oh, we do that. Oh, that makes sense. That's why we're getting that. Yeah, okay, thank you. Like, hey, Reuben, why didn't you tell me this 5 years ago?
Well, that's the thing. And honestly, that's why we do what we do, because I feel like, for lack of a better term, I think my zone of genius is creating clarity around a lot of things that are often confusing and teaching in a way that these heart-centered coaches can just be like, oh, okay, I'll do that, this, and this. And it makes it easier for them to be in their zone of genius, which is often the heart-centered caring part of it, right? And so that's what we're all about, creating that clarity so that there doesn't have to be the confusion of like all the craziness of the online space, because you and I both know there's a lot out there you could consume. Not all that would be helpful.
I love another one of the points that you bring up is that like it works on every platform, and you know that's one of my biases where I'm like, you know, like a lot of people like try to tackle a platform maybe where their content, I don't want to say it's not best suited for it, because you know different people succeed at every different type of content succeeds on every type of platform. There's always an outlier, so that's not what I mean. Mm-hmm. But you know sometimes people are like trying to do Instagram if they're not like that's not like they're going to be better off on LinkedIn, or some people are trying to do LinkedIn and they're going to be better off on Instagram, or some people should be on Facebook. Like all these different things, it's like any of them work. Just study the platform, like use your framework that you just gave for one, and if you do that framework on any of the platforms with your content, and if you pay attention to your audience, the point is the audience is going to let you know what they want. Like the reason why we have this set up right now, so like when we were in the pre-show call, Reuben and I was like, our content is segmented. We're doing this, we're doing that. I didn't come up with that idea. The audience came up with that idea. They didn't want to listen to a marketing podcast and then the next one be be a venture capital money guy. And I'm like, well, what do? Well, I have to split it. I have to put the marketers on a marketing podcast. I have to put the venture capital guy and gals on a money podcast. It's common sense now in retrospect, but I just listen to the audience. So if you do those steps that you talked about, and if you listen to the audience, I mean, you really can't go wrong if your heart's in the right place and you're trying to provide value, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%. And it's very important to listen to your audience, because every one of those 4 steps, it's not going to work if you are doing it in a way where your ideal client doesn't want to go through your value chain, right? And that's why a lot of people get confused, and then like they have this value chain set up, but it's not basically flowing into clients. And basically then we have to look at, okay, what's wrong? Why aren't people connecting with it? And that's why before you go ahead and get clients, we always talk about the foundation system as far as having your niche, your offer, and your branding on point. You have to have the foundation before you start funneling people through here, or else you're probably guessing half of the time whether it's going to work or not. So you might as well have that clarity on the front end so that you're not going to get all the frustration on the back end.
Love it. That's awesome. So, Reuben, that being said, I can talk to you about these hacks all day long, but it's about that time. So if somebody's listening to this and they want to connect with you and your team and they want to learn more about what you're doing over at Coaches Creating Impact, I mean, what's the best way for them to reach out and to connect?
Totally, for sure. So we run a Facebook group. It's called Online Coaches Uprising. And I actually run a free workshop in there every single week. We have compiled about 50 of them. And basically our goal is for people to join the group, see if you love the value we provide and how we build businesses. And if you enjoy it as much as I think you will, then you can definitely reach out to us. It's very simple. You can find me on Facebook or Instagram, just at Reuben Driedger, and we can have a conversation about it. But I first want you to get some more value so that you make sure that it's a good fit. So that Facebook group, Online Coaches Uprising, and we call it Uprising because I always like to believe that I'm leading a bit of a resistance of the heart-centered entrepreneurs becoming business savvy. It's kind of my little childhood, fantasy of leading an uprising. So anyways, that's the group to go and join.
Fantastic. Well, Reuben, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about what you've been able to do and how you're helping other coaches and heart-centered entrepreneurs succeed. So awesome stuff there. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave a review on the Apple iTunes Store. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Marketing, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments in the video. Love to know what kind of projects and things that you're working on. And Reuben, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me on, Adam. My pleasure.